Hi, everyone, and welcome back to Inner Cosmetics. I'm so happy that you're here with me today, giving yourself a little time on a Sunday to reflect, to expand, and of course, to remember who you really are. Today's conversation is about something simple on the surface, but very powerful underneath. You've heard the phrase, never say never, but we're going to take that beyond cliche. I want to explore what's really happening when we say would never, because it's not just about the language, it's truly about the vibration, the consciousness, and the awareness. So if you've been enjoying these conversations, make sure that you follow Inner Cosmetics so you don't miss a Sunday. And I love to hear your thoughts too. Share your reflections, because these podcasts really just aren't for me talking. They're us. They're us co-creating a bigger understanding together. So let's talk about the trap of never. And I'll start with a personal story, right? So there was someone who had done something to me, or so I thought at the time. But I knew how much it hurt, and I thought that I would never do or put someone else through the same scenario, right? So yet, fast forward, here I was in a situation where I found myself doing the exact same thing to someone else. Yeah. So have you ever had that happen, right? You may have sworn you'd never, and then one day you did. And when that happens, the first reaction is usually guilt. It's usually confusion, but the truth is a lot deeper. When we declare never, we're actually closing ourselves off to one side of the human experience. We're speaking without perspective, and life or spirit or God or however you see it, it will bring the other side back around. And it's not to punish us, but it's to expand us, to show us what we necessarily couldn't see before. So never isn't just a word. It's a vibration. It's a declaration of separation. And what you separate yourself from, consciousness will bring it back around for us to experience. And there we walk into light, dark, and the human shackles, and which brings us to something even deeper. We've been trained to think in dualities, light versus dark, good versus bad, positive versus negative. We've heard it all before. That's the human program, the avatar we're walking around in. But in truth, the duality is a shackle. Dark doesn't mean negative. Light doesn't automatically mean positive. There's simply aspects of the whole. So you can think of it like a male and female, two different energies, neither better than the other, but both required to create, or what we believe is needed to create at this time. So when I say never, what I was really saying was I only accept one half of the picture, but spirit always wants to show us the whole. So let's say the next time you find yourself in a never moment, you can ask yourself, I can ask myself, am I rejecting an experience because I think it's bad? Or am I simply not ready to see the other side? And sometimes it's too painful to even consider or think there could be another side. And here's really where compassion comes in. When you find yourself doing what you swore you never do, the instinct is to judge yourself. But what if you gave yourself compassion instead? What if you realized that this is just another angle of the very same lesson? And I like to flip the word selfish here. What we think selfish is bad, but selfish really just means the experience is for me. It's mine to learn. It's mine to integrate. And in the Bible, it says there's no other God before me, not because God's jealous, but because there's only one spirit expressing itself as you, as me, and as this. So when I experience something, even something I thought I'd never do, I remember this is selfish in the best way. It's mine, it's for me. And if you can hold compassion there, you can get there to the other side without being stuck in shame. So how do we work this in daily life? Instead of saying I never, we could always try things like, I like to understand that perspective, or that's not a line for me right now, or even I haven't experienced that yet. And you feel the difference? Those words keep you open. They leave space for understanding. They don't shut down a particular perspective. And in that space is where compassion and expansion can flow. And Another example is this. How many times have you heard someone say, I'd never do that job? Or you may have said it to yourself. And then life places you in that job. And we often think of it as humiliation or we've been lowered. But that's just the language of the human program. Because in reality, you're never being lowered. You're never humbled. It's an experience. So if you take the word away, job, and you just see it as energy, as an experience that you're choosing to show up in, it all shifts. And it's about being expanded to new perspectives. Maybe the reason you're there is simply to see a choice. Maybe it's to meet someone, learn something down the line that you can apply later. So don't fear the jobs or the roles saying that you never do that. Remove the label because that's shame, right? Remove the labels, remove the shame. Sit in the energy of the experience because that's where the meaning lives. Now let's bring it back to vibration. Worlds are not created by words. Words are just the symbols. Worlds are created by energy, by vibration. So when we say never, we're vibrating resistance, and resistance is still energy. It still creates. So what happens? That resistance attracts the very experience we thought we were pushing away, not as punishment, but as perspective. So the next time we catch ourselves saying things like never, we can pause, feel the vibration around it, ask ourselves, am I resisting or am I expanding? Because resistance closes doors, expansion opens them. So never isn't about avoiding something. It's about awareness. It's about consciousness. It's about expansion. So instead of fearing the things we swore we would never do, we can understand that they might be the very doorway into the next level of compassion, the next level of our perspective expanding, and the next level of our growth. So if this conversation resonated with you, please let me know. Share your stories, share your never stories, what you thought you would never do, or leave a comment below about a conversation that you would like to have. So until next Sunday, remember this, you are the one spirit expanding through every experience, and never fear, never. There's only more for us to always understand. Until next time, stay blessed.